It was April of 2017 when this tax was levied, gas tax and a car tax. I remember it was on the radio and people were calling in. They're saying, Carl, this is terrible. Let's recall the governor. Look, I don't want him to be in office as much as you don't want him to be in office, but he's leaving. Don't play the fool. By the time we do a recall, the vote will be, for the new governor. And they said, okay, let's recall all the state senators and state assembly members. I would love to give them all pink slips. But that would require tens and tens of thousands of signatures, hundreds of thousands of signatures, district by district. That's a big chore. And we are not flush with resources. We are, the resistance. And I was sitting there and saying, what we need to do is we got to take a page out of the Animal Planet series about the lions. And I said, let's do the gazelle strategy. And everyone's like, ooh, what's the gazelle strategy? And I said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to fix the first problem, which is they were able to increase the gas tax and the car tax without a vote of the people because they got a super majority in both the Assembly and the State Senate, 2/3. And what we need to do is protect ourselves from higher taxes immediately. And the only way to immediately stop additional taxes is to recall one of the guys who voted for this thing. I said, so I'm going to find the weakest one. Just like the gazelles, the lions look for the weakest one. And I don't, it may not be our state senator, maybe somewhere else in the state, but we're all going to work together, just like the lions work together, to be effective. And I found the guy, State Senator Josh Newman. He cast the deciding vote in the gas tax and car tax increases. And not only is he the weakest or slowest gazelle, he only has 3 legs. I mean, this guy only won by 2,000 votes. We should be able to take him out of office. And so we filed the papers, and Jerry Brown was like, no, you're not going to get a recall done. You have 6 months to get 63,000 signatures. It's going to cost money. It's never going to happen. We organized, and we launched on May 9th. We all went up, a group of us, to ARCO, the Fullerton ARCO station. And I announced, working with KFI and another radio station, that we would start collecting signatures right from that gas station. Stop by, drive by if you live in this guy's district. I didn't know what we were going to get. And out of the corner of my eye, I noticed 2 people who didn't quite fit the picture. Because they were across the street, and they were doing this. And I was like, wow, I wonder what they're doing. So we started broadcasting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We said, if you live in these areas, come by, sign the recall papers. Let's fire the guy who raised our car tax and our gas tax through a recall. And before you knew it, about 15, 20 minutes into the broadcast, we had a line of cars out of that gas station all the way up to the 405. You would have thought Jimmy Carter was back as president. It was a long line. And within an hour, we had stacks of recall petitions. And so the guys went from, tape recording us and photoshopping us to, they were on the other side. They were calling Jerry Brown and his bullies and saying they're actually doing it. They're actually collecting signatures. They're not just talking the talk, they're actually doing it. The truth is, we've not had an effective opposition party in the state of California for perhaps 15 or 20 years. You can blame the majority party, the Democrats, for bad policies, but I think we've got to blame the California Republican Party for cowardice and lack of principle and no plan to fight back. Well, we're not going to take that anymore. We're not waiting for that party to fix itself. We're just simply saying, we're doing it. The train's leaving the station, and this ain't no high-speed rail train. This train has people on it. This train has actual riders. And these are the citizens and the taxpayers who are rebelling. So we were given 6 months. We got the signatures in 6 weeks, 100,000 signatures. And we did it largely through volunteers and on a shoestring budget. So then I said, okay, recall is fine, but firing a politician doesn't give tax relief to the working family. So we got to repeal. Go recall, and then we got to do repeal. And that's going to take 500,000 signatures. And we approached people, and they said, there's no way you can do it. It's going to cost $8 to $10 million. And I said, I think we can get it done on $2 million budget, $2.5 million. Why? Because I think we're going to get a lot of volunteer signatures. And they said, well, where are you going to get the money? And I said, well, we're going to ask people for the money. And so over the course of several months leading up to the repeal being filed and we initiated the signature drive, we asked people to volunteer. We asked people to contribute. When we were ready to actually collect signatures, we got some people just signing the petition online and sending it in, called the short form, just 2 small signature blocks. But we had people requesting something called the long form, which has 11 signature blocks. In theory, they're going to go and do some extra work by walking door to door or asking people. So let me ask you, how many of you requested and received and collected signatures on the long form for the gas tax repeal? All right, good, almost 20 people. Well, 20 people, in addition to about 20,000 others statewide, volunteered to collect signatures for free. The average individual collected 9 signatures. But with the other free signatures we got from people who just did the onesie-twosies, we collected 250,000 signatures for free, getting us half the place to where we needed to be for qualification. And that's compared to only 40,000 volunteer signatures in the recall of Ray Davis. That shows how volunteers, committed volunteers, can get things done, and we don't have to ask for the funding from other groups. But we still needed to fund. And so I asked for donations, and they came in $5, $10, $2, $100. No contribution exceeded $1,000. The average contribution was $37. But because over 25,000 people donated, we have raised, at last count, nearly $3 million. Now, to put that in perspective, today I saw on that report for Jerry Brown, 3 government unions each gave $1 million each. So all it was 3 checks. Okay, and look at this hogwash from Sacramento politicians. We're fighting for the little guy. You're going to cocktail parties, hanging out with people who can write $1 million checks. Give me a break. We're standing with 25,000 donors who gave small bits of money, average donation $37. We're standing with volunteers who stood in front of hot, sunny stores for hours to get signatures and collect it amongst their friends and family. And so, when Jerry Brown has all that money, it worries me. It should worry you. It's not fair. But while he has the money, we got the truth. And we are going to get the truth out to fellow voters. And that's what this last phase of the campaign is about. We were able to collect those signatures, almost 1 million signatures, from Democrats and Independents and Republicans. Half the signatures came from Democrats and Independents. You can't get more bipartisan than this. The only people who want the gas tax increase are people who are on the payroll of state and local government and the politicians. And so the rest of the voters out there, when they are told gas tax repeal, they're like, of course I want to vote for that. Where do I vote? Where do I vote? The problem is, and this is where we get into our challenge in this election, when you get your ballot in about, you're getting a sample ballot in about 3 to 4 weeks, and then you get your real ballot the first week of October. When you open that ballot up, you will not see gas tax repeal. You'll know, because you attended this, I got to look at Prop 6. And so when you open it up and look at Prop 6, you look at the title, it says, The Kitten Destruction and Puppy Torture Act of 2018. All right, maybe not that bad, but it's bad, all right? And when you turn on the TV, it'll say, no on Prop 6. You will die in a car accident, or the bridge will fall over. They are running on one message and one message alone, and that is fear. That you should be scared into parting ways with your hard-earned money because you're going to die if Prop 6 passes. And they're going to go around the state, and they're already doing this. We're already seeing news stories of, if Prop 6 passes, they'll cancel all of these programs. Here are the facts. All of those projects, all those programs are already paid for. You have paid for those projects. Because prior to the rate increase that we just got saddled with, we already paid the second highest gas tax in the nation, but we have the worst roads because the money is stolen and diverted. And the few crumbs, to quote Nancy Pelosi, the few crumbs that actually get put into road programs are abysmally wasted. And we've got all these examples. The audit reports showing 3,500 staff members at Caltrans who do no work whatsoever. One guy who for 40 days went out and golfed, but said he was working on road improvement projects. And remember, car tax helps pay for the DMV. How about that pinnacle of great performance? I called one of the employees that they called out Sleeping Beauty because she slept 3 hours a day for 4 years, and she was written up constantly, and yet DMV says, we can't fire her because, well, we don't think we documented it right.
What?
We're talking about government. No one's ever been fired in government. And so when you take a look at the level of waste, the level of inefficiency and lack of accountability, what's frustrating is the fraud, which diverts about 80 cents of the dollar on gas tax away from roads. But then the little money that's left, what's really frustrating is that's not even spent properly and put to good use. How about this? How about we actually spend all of the money on roads? And here's another one. How about we just get as screwed up a government as the average of the rest of the 49 other states in the Union? The Reason Foundation did a study. And this is where I sit down with people who say, but Carl, we need more money for the tunnels. We already paid the money, we just need to spend it right. On average, for all of the other 49 states, and they include the wonderfully managed state of Michigan and Illinois in that 49 state average, for every dollar that they spend on average for a mile of road for maintenance, California taxpayers are forced to spend $2.5 for that same mile. And when you just look at administrative costs, not the cost of concrete or cement, the commodity costs, for every dollar they spend on admin and overhead, we spend $3.6 on admin and overhead. The largesse, the bloated bureaucracy is the problem. And so when we talk to voters, we have two messages that we must educate them on. Actually, three. The first one is Prop 6 is gas tax repeal. You have to vote yes on Prop 6 to repeal. That's a little confusing, you know? Because first, you're voting yes to undo something. And the reason why we're voting yes to undo something is that ours is a constitutional amendment that rolls back the gas tax, rolls back the car tax, also negates the automatic escalators that they put in the tax. Most people don't know this, but the gas tax is not a one-year tax. It is an increasing tax each and every year. You have been deprived of a right to vote on a tax that is perpetual and constantly increasing year after year without a vote of the legislature, without a vote of the people. That's how bad this tax hike is. And so we roll that back, and then we say no additional tax or fee or levy or monetary extraction may be levied by the state of California or a local government entity without a vote of the people of that jurisdiction for car tax and gas tax. Because what they did last time on the gas tax is what they said is what we'll do. Diane Harkey's an expert on this because she sits on the BOE, the Board of Equalization. We'll do a swap. We'll lower the gas tax and then do a special excise tax of a similar amount. But we didn't raise your tax. This will put an end to any of the accounting shell games. They cannot take your money without a vote of the people in the future. That's why it's a yes vote. It's a constitutional amendment that expands our protections. And we have to let them know that the Prop 6 is gas tax repeal, because the title is not going to say gas tax repeal. It says elimination of road repair revenues. Again, killing puppies and kittens. So the first message is yes on Prop 6. Second message, why? Your cost of living is too much. I know working families who've left the state of California regrettably, reluctantly, because they can't afford to live here anymore. How many of you know friends or families that have left because they can't afford to live in California anymore? It's terrible. And then on top of that, I know a lot of working families where the dad and the mom, between the two of them, they work 3 or 4 jobs. You know, I see a lot of people who are driving Uber because they need a little extra cash. And small business owners, they pay themselves last because sometimes they have a good month, sometimes they got a real bad month. People are losing hope. They're losing hope. The spirit is being sapped out of them when they're working their tails off, and yet they're farther behind at the end of the month than at the beginning of the month. And some of them just throw their hands up and leave. So we have to talk about the cost of living, and then tell them what it's going to cost them for the gas tax. And this is a shocker. Jerry Brown, in his arrogance, in his deceit, says it's only 12 cents. It's only 12 cents. Okay, let's talk about a typical family of 4. The wife drives a Ford Fusion. The husband drives a Jeep Wrangler. Those are not exotic or expensive cars. They fill up once a week. For that family of 4, they will pay $779.28 more in taxes just because of the gas tax and car tax increase. That's on top of what they're already paying, which is roughly about $1,200 to $1,300 a year. This is a major increase in their household living expenses. And to Jerry Brown, he says it's nothing. $779.28. That's actually, ironically, the average of what a working family spends for Christmas each year. So yes, we can confidently tell our friends and family members that Sacramento politicians voted to steal Christmas. $779.28 is also 2 years of school lunches at San Diego Unified Public Schools. $779.28 per year is 1 year of college textbooks at UC San Diego. So what we need to do is explain to people that this is not a penny here and a penny there. This is real money that then people are going to have to look at their budget and say, what are we doing without this year? What am I going to have to sacrifice? And at some point, you have sacrificed so much, there's nothing more. Cost of living is number 1. Number 2, fraud. We must let them know about the diversion. We must let them know that the projects that are being talked about on the television commercials have already been funded. There's more than enough money. And if we simply put the money into the roads like they should have been doing for years after years, we would be able to fix our roads in 3 to 5 years statewide. That's how much money is available in the existing gas tax after we lower it. And so we plan to file that initiative of 100% allocation of gas tax into the roads in September. Because I believe that you don't beat something with nothing. You can't just vote no on something. You can't just oppose something. You got to say, here's how we would fix the problem. And I'm looking forward to that. Because guess what? I'm going to go to the governor and say, hey, Governor, since you say that we need the money and you say that you're going to spend the money on roads, I'm sure you're going to endorse this initiative that forces you to do exactly that. Oh, and then he's going to sit there and say, oh, no, no. And you know why he's going to say no, no? He's going to say, oh, well, we'll have to cut other government programs if we did that. Oh, so are you lying when you say the money's earmarked for roads, or now are you lying when you say that you're not diverting the money and putting the money into other places? Which lie are we dealing with today? How many lockboxes have we voted on in the last 15 years on gas tax? Not 1, not 2, but 3 lockboxes written by politicians. And their lockbox is like at the circus where the lady gets cut in half. There's a little trap door. Instead of the lady falling, all the cash falls. And it goes right into the general fund. Prop 69, which we just approved, provides not even a single penny of earmark for roads. They've defined transportation so broadly to include, ready for it? Grants to the UC and CSU college system to study roads. You don't need to study a road. It's crap. Just fill it. Just fix it. How about Training for union trade programs. They will fund government monies to train people on how to fill potholes. Now, they're not required to fill potholes, but they're going to get trained on how to do it, maybe some day down the line. They put the money into environmental studies and mitigation. They put the money into park and rec farm programs. And most of the money is going to government-run transportation. Transit, inner-city light rail, high-speed rail, which is being funded out of our transportation dollars to this day. Roads are not their priority. They don't want the car. They don't think that we should have highways and freeways. They think that we should be on bikes or walking or on a bus. And so we have to explain that fraud is happening and that they should not pay attention to those radio and television ads. Well, the radio ones are good, but the television ads not so much. So, what is your role? Just like we did in phase 1, which is collecting signatures, in phase 2, the passage phase, we need you to be what we call guerrilla marketers. And guerrilla marketing actually works. First and foremost, take a lawn sign. We do ask for a contribution, but if you can't afford a contribution for a lawn sign, please take one with my thanks. Just take it, all right? Just put it in your yard, proudly display it. Second, look at these beauties. Oh, look at that. These are gas pump stickers. Because we know that our voters that we're trying to reach are going to pump gas. There are 10,380 some gas stations in the state of California. There's no way our campaign can go to all of those and say to the attendant, hey, I know you're not raising our gas prices. May we place a sign next to your pricing? Can we put a sign in your window? May I put these removable stickers on your pumps? Ask permission always, okay? We don't want to just slap them on there. I would never ask permission. No, of course not. But put 10 of these in your glove box, in your purse, drive around, talk to people about it. And with guerrilla marketing, if everyone's doing this, even a fraction of the population, Jerry Brown can't compete with that. The guy is going to be overwhelmed because people are going to be paying at the pump and saying, damn right, yes on 6. That's the gas tax repeal. We need your help. If you just sit on the sidelines, it's not going to happen. Jerry Brown's counting on people sitting on the sidelines. How many of you have an email address? Pretty easy. Everyone's doing email now. Just forward the email to gastaxrepeal.org, the website, which is all on your handout. How many of you don't have this handout? Please get the handout, all right? Got to get the handout because it's got the website on it. All you have to do is forward it to your friends. Once a week, October, each of the weeks of October. Remember, vote yes on Prop 6. It's the gas tax repeal. Pay no attention to the fearmonger ads that are on TV. You're not going to die. The bridge isn't going to fall over as long as we basically tell them they got to spend the money where it's supposed to go. Don't trust them. You telling your friends is 10 times more powerful than some voiceover on a TV or radio spot. Unless it's my voiceover, of course. Attend a rally. We are going to be getting as many of our friends and family members out to rallies. One of the reasons why is that we want to get the media to show up because they love filming rallies. Donald Trump, I guess, showed us that. Well, they don't like filming the rally, but at least they'll show up and film what our message is. But we need to get as many people to those rallies because by inviting them out, they'll get a T-shirt, they'll get a lawn sign, they'll get fed. We're going to be showing up to all of our rallies with food and festivities and elected officials who will talk. But we are going to be coming back to North County, San Diego, about 3 to 4, maybe 5 times for rallies, just up here in the Oceanside, Carlsbad, Vista, San Marcos area. Yeah. And that doesn't count what we're doing in San Marcos Valley. And so we need to just bring 4 or 5 of your friends and say, just come along, and then take some materials home and take it to your place of work or your friends and your family. Finally, volunteer from home. Volunteer from home is simple. You need to keep your eyes out for any special events that are happening because we want to be at the special events. I will go to the opening of an envelope. That's how desperate we are. And so I don't know when your events are, though. So let us know by emailing it to the website, and At that email address, we take every person's idea and we route it to a staff member who then follows up. Volunteer from Home is also going to allow you to use your cell phone, those of you who are okay with the smartphones, to text and email and call people without it showing up as your name. It's just going to be from the campaign. But we need people to actually be sending the messages out because everyone has a spam filter, but people who send individual messages through that special app that we have will get information into people's boxes. And so volunteering from home is so critical as well. With that, let me take a real quick moment to bring up my good friend, Diane Harkey, who when I called her, I said, we're running low on cash. We need to pay for signature gatherers in front of stores. She said, what can I do? Give me the petitions. My team will help collect signatures. And she wrote us a check out of her BOE account. And her leadership from day one has been key on this. So Diane Harkey, tell us what you're going to do on the gas tax repeal.
We're going to win, right? Thank you very much, and thank you, Carl, for all of your effort. You know, this is kind of the biggest tax revolt since Prop 13. And I was just Googling Prop 13 to find out, do you understand that property taxes average less than 3% of market value before Prop 13, but ad valorem, that means the constant increase based on assessed value was increasing, and some properties were reassessed 50 to 100% in just 1 year, their property taxes. Now, does that not tell you why that passed? This is the same thing. Every year there's another incremental increase on your gas for some reason, and then mysteriously it goes away, you don't get your roads, you get asked to have another sales tax increase locally. Now most of us command our local electeds and they report back to us what they spend. But when you send money to Sacramento, it goes into a black hole. You do not see it back again for the needs and the goods and services that you want or that you think you're paying for. And transportation is one of those. So Carl is very, very right. You know, the high-speed rail has never gone away. They keep feeding that thing from not only gas taxes or transportation taxes, which are gas taxes, but they also feed it from the cap and trade revenues. You know, 25% of the cap and trade revenues are going to keep that going. So I'm just saying, your money will never come back to you in roads and in improvements unless you hold people responsible. And the one way we were able to hold Sacramento responsible was by recalling Josh Newman, because he voted for that tax. That was a huge issue. And I don't like to see anyone dishonored or whatever, but that was just a wrong move in a wrong district. And so that was really important for us. So now we have 2/3 in the Senate. And I'm just saying, Republican or Democrat, you know what comes out of your pocket, you know what you earn, you know what you pay for utilities. California's paying about 60% more than any other state for their utilities. We are paying more for gasoline, astronomically. If you go across the border, go into Arizona, those of you that travel back and forth like I do periodically, immediately drops $1 a gallon. And, you know, then we get on our summer blend, which we are now, the rates go up again. So I'm just saying, this is not a good value for your dollars. You're not going to get what you think you're getting. SB1 signs all over are paid for with your tax dollars to remind you of what good service you're getting out of Sacramento. It's not true. Don't buy it. Tell your friends and neighbors and repeal this gas tax. Yes on 6. Yes on 6. Yes on 6. Yes, yes on 6. Whoa, thank you.
I want to real quick point out that when people say, oh, it's a Republican thing. Well, first, how offensive. You've got 500,000 signatures that came from Democrats and independents. In the Bay Area, we have a Green Party candidate running for state senate. He's yes on Prop 6. I will work with...
Democrat in Orange County just flipped to yes on 6.
Yeah, but I don't buy her flipping. I don't... No. There's sinners, saints, and savables. She's still a sinner. I'm talking about people people who are genuinely doing work, because that Green Party candidate collected signatures, and he's very vocal about it. He has been from day one. So we will work with anyone, and Democrats will find common ground with you. You will find your Democrat friends who will come and say, you know, this is hurting the working poor, so how do I help? And so this is those areas of common ground. But we also have our friends in the libertarian community. Brad Richardson, tell us what you guys are going to do for Prop 6, working with your libertarian officials.
My name is Brad Richardson. I'm the chair of the San Diego County Libertarian Party. We are the party of freedom, and freedom to me means not having the cronies in Sacramento stealing your hard-earned money, siphoning away through your gas tank. And so we will be pushing out to all of our members, all of the Yes on 6 events, and getting the word out on Vote Yes on 6.
Thanks so much. Has anyone seen the chair of the San Diego Democrat Party? Hello, hello. Oh yeah, no. Apparently they're out rallying for working poor. This is really at the heart of what California needs to decide. Are we going to allow more extreme policies to go and be implemented unchecked, and completely take our freedom away, take what's left of our funding away, leave us with bad programs, take our security away? Are we going to allow that stuff to happen? Or on one issue, are we going to mobilize and focus? I call Prop 6 the Karate Kid strategy today. We had the Gazelle strategy on recalling Newman, that worked. I call it the Karate Kid strategy, Prop 6. Do you remember Mr. Miyagi in the 1985 Karate Kid? And the wax on, wax off? And remember, the Karate Kid was all frustrated. Why am I doing wax on, wax off? This has nothing to do with what I want to do, which is, compete in the ring. And then they moved on to the bonsai tree, and then they moved on to the chopsticks with the fly. The reason why is he was expecting and demanding that we do one thing well. We do it so well, and we get so good at it, that we build our capacity. And then we can utilize that capacity for the real fight. And so here's what's going to happen. The national narrative is going to be, there's no way that a campaign that is outspent, which I expect will be outspent $50 million to maybe $3 million.
Oh, wow.
50 million to 3. There's no way, with all of these groups, the chamber and the unions and the newspapers, all editorializing, and the governor, there's no way that this thing is going to pass. But on election night, when we celebrate that victory, not only will it show that we can take on Sacramento and win, but because we were so outspent and outgunned on it, people who are on the sidelines that have given up hope, that are probably looking at property in Texas and Arizona and Nevada and where else, they're going to get excited, and they're going to get involved, and they're going to get engaged. They're going to say, what next? That felt good. We finally won one. And so for folks that say, well, we have to do sanctuary state repeal, and we've got to do cap and trade repeal, and we've got to deal with the fact that they're banning plastic straws, and we've got to deal with bad streets and schools, all of the concerns that you have are legitimate, and we have to fix Sacramento. But this is wax on, wax off. This has to be done. If we don't succeed, the converse happens, and we send that message to everyone. That's it. We're done. Throw in the towel. They own us. They get to do whatever the hell they want with us. So escape. No, we're going to stay and fight. We're going to stay and fight, and we're going to win. And then we're going to tackle additional issues. And because we won on this round, I guarantee you what's going to happen the very next day. And this happened with Josh Newman. Diane knows. They thought they were going to win. They spent $8 million to our $1 million in the recall. We beat them 60-40. We carried 57% of LA County, which was really shocking. They immediately dropped several tax increases out of the budget the next day. They said, well, we can't pass this. Boy, the natives are getting restless. We can't do this. And I will tell you, every single legislator on their side that's in a target seat, they went berserk. And they started telling their leadership, how could you do this to us? We're going to fail. That's why they're spending so much money, is they're trying to destroy Prop 6 so that it doesn't get used as a hammer to wash some of those other candidates out to sea. And so, when we win, and when they lose their jobs, several of them will lose their jobs, we then get to stipulate and set our demands, which is, okay, we got a replacement initiative. You have 30 days to take the budget that you just passed and amend it and comply with our initiative. And by the way, we're going to start talking about public safety initiatives. And by the way, we want to talk about these other tax rates and the bonds and the project labor agreements and the union-only contracts. Everything's on the table. Because then we're going to announce we're going to go after this person and that person. And we will have others that will join us. So if we make this happen, when we make this happen, it opens the door to so much more than all of us have dreamed about and been frustrated about and want to see change. But this has to be the focal point. With that, questions, comments, suggestions, and we did have Omar Quadrad, who I mentioned earlier. He has arrived and he'll be here to answer questions. He's running for Congress. Is Morgan Bertone here yet? She may be on her way. Bad traffic today. Any questions or comments? Don't be shy. Yes, sir.
Carl, I love your radio show. It's just it's so honest and right on, so easy to listen to. And I know that this project is taking up all of your spare time. But when are you going to run for office again?
Gee. Thanks, Dad. Look, part of this is sometimes people in office, they just get caught up in that whole, lobbyists currying favor and the campaign cash, and they lose sight for what's actually happening. And so I love what we're doing. I love the fact that my name is a curse word. I want all of you to be on their minds. And part of the rallies is I want those politicians to see how many people are showing up and how many people are involved in this, because that will send shivers down their spine, and they will remember it the next time they think about voting on something. So let's get this done. We can win on an issue in California, and this is the one. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm new here, so help me out on this. So they add the tax, and the money is going to increase government workers' salaries and bonuses and all.
Pension, they're not filling the pothole, it's going to the pension hole. It's also going to high-speed rail and intercity light rail and bus. Let me give you some stats. I don't want to bore you, but this is a massive bailout for transit. I have nothing against transit. If you want to spend 4 hours trying to get to where you want to go, by all means, take 4 hours to try to get there. But transit has not developed the ridership to sustain it. Transit ridership is down nationwide. It is significantly down in California. In San Diego, it is down. Why? Because people are using Uber and Lyft. And I kid you not, this is in the MTS, Metropolitan Transit System, San Diego budget. They're saying it's not only because Uber and Lyft, it's because illegal immigrants now have driver's licenses. Transit ridership is down. Congratulations, environmentalists. Congratulations. That's what you helped cause. Statewide, only 46% of the cost of transit is covered by the ridership. In other words, they're running a massive deficit, and in order to fill that deficit for transit, they're taxing you at the gas pump and shifting the money not to the roads, but to salaries and benefits of transit systems that can't pay their bills. Here in San Diego, $11 million of the gas tax has been put into MTS to cover this year's deficit. And here's what's really frustrating about this. The media takes the press releases from Governor Brown and they print every damn word as gospel. The headline is, if Prop 6 passes, grandma's gonna die. I mean, they say that we're gonna lose projects, we're gonna have potholes, and our safety's gonna be compromised, and that the money's earmarked for roads. They actually say that in articles, and I call these reporters and I'm like, Have you read SB1? There's no earmarking in here. It's earmarked to a general category of programs, which includes 2 provisions that allows the governor to transfer the money without a public vote, without a legislative vote, to cover general fund deficits. And they're like, and there's, well, where is that? You see the words that say, except as provided in section 80572 and section 82573. You know what those are? Why don't you Google it? And you look it up and it says, general fund shortfall provisions. And I said, it's right there. Well, it doesn't say that. It says a bunch of numbers. Really? What is your bank account number in your pen? I mean, they don't want to do the job of a journalist. Journalism is dead in most of these papers and most of these networks. And so we have to get that information out there that transit is 54% subsidized by gas tax. And that's salary and benefits. It's not buying extra buses. And by the way, when they do buy buses, natural gas bus costs $250,000. It's a pretty expensive vehicle, huh? $250,000 for natural gas. Natural gas is good. But the electric buses, oh, those are so good, aren't they? $1.5 million per bus. And so now they say, well, we need the gas tax increase because we need to have the new electric bus. No, you don't. A natural gas bus is just fine. By the way, in LA, they bought 16 electric buses for $1.5 million from a Chinese company. They didn't even buy American. Their own internal auditor said that the buses broke down and weren't working, and they then went to the company and said, well, we're going to buy 60 buses from you. $1.5 million each to a Chinese company. In the Bay Area, how much do you think a bus driver should earn in salary? $80,000? I think that's about right. How about $227,000 a year? We have a bus driver in the Golden Gate Transit Authority, $227,000, and he's not alone. $219,000 is the second highest paid bus driver in that one agency alone. They did a study in Inland Empire. You know what the study was that Caltrans funded? The question was a most important question. This one study that cost $119,000 asked the very groundbreaking question. In this one median along the 91, should we have 7 palm trees or 9 palm trees? Give me half that money, I'll say split the difference, do 8. I saved you a bunch of money, just do 8. We are going to be doing press conferences this fall exposing every single example. And I say thank you to the whistleblowers who showed us where this happened. But the media should have been doing this. I was at the LA Times on Monday. And I turned to them and I said, you know, we've got all these examples of waste, fraud, and abuse. And I went through some of them that we haven't publicized yet. And they said, well, how did you find this? I said, oh, I know. What I did was I sent out an email saying, do you got dirt? Let me know. And a bunch of Caltrans people stepped forward. Matt, today we received how much from a Caltrans employee who's offended by his agency's waste? $1,000. Wow. Caltrans employee. I'm reading the letter on tomorrow's show. I got it on the way over here. It's a handwritten letter, very nice. And he says, we are broken. This is not the way to fix Caltrans, giving them more money. And so I told LA Times, I said, all you have to do is a public records request. You've got, what, 1,000 reporters looking at all these other things, collusion, whatever it is. Can you put one reporter on gas tax fraud? Just give me one. One reporter, and honestly try to report the story. Jim Desmond's here, I just saw you. Jim Desmond running for county supervisor. Other comments and questions? We have about 5 minutes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what kind of legal challenges have there been for the gas and car tax? Because I know on a federal level, Congress is not allowed, it's called, you can't bind a future Congress. So in other words, this Congress can't say, in 5 years, you're going to raise taxes another 10%, and in 10 years, you're going to raise another 15%. You can't bind a future Congress. And yet this legislature on a state level seems to be doing that in what on a federal level would be fundamentally illegal. And I'm just not sure how they got away with it.
Welcome to California. You know, what they did was they passed SB 1 that said, here's the rate increase, but the state government bureaucracy has the ability to increase by cost of inflation each and every year. Don't let the government ever tell you what the cost of inflation is, because it's always going to be much, much more than is actually needed. And so the reality is, even though we have more fuel-efficient cars, we are collecting more gas tax today than in 1990, than in 1995, in 2000, in 2005, 2010. Another thing at the LA Times board meeting, this self-assured little reporter was like, isn't it true that with fuel efficiency we have less gas tax money than we did when it was first enacted? Did you actually, before you asked the question, did you actually bother to check the state budget? Oh, I thought you would answer it. Oh, sure, I'll give you the answer. No, it's not true. Next question. And she sat there shocked. And yet they're writing these stories and editorials confident that, oh, we need more money. So we already have more money each year without resetting the rate. It's called more population and actually more people driving. Even with fuel efficiency, we're getting more money under the old rates. And so these are some of the facts that you're not going to hear from the media. This is why we've got to try to get people to go to that website that will present the facts and get the message out on the basic fundamentals. Other comments and questions?
What is the website again? Because I was trying to say, could you email us with all these facts, what you're saying?
GasTaxRepeal.org. And yes, the good thing about this is that when you sign up on this website, who's not signed up on the Prop 6 email list that I send out one or two a week? All right, please sign up. Then also email the website and get 5 of your friends to sign up. Okay, that's how we get a viral messaging. We start growing the campaign. We will let you know what's going on once a week and have a link to things that are developing in terms of waste examples. We're not going to bore you with all of it in an email, but we'll say, hey, check out the waste examples we released this week. And maybe we'll give you one example, like a $10,000 toilet seat that they bought. And so you get to see an example, and if you want to know more, you can click on it. But we'll also in that email let you know what's happening in your area, what events are coming up, and what is our theme for the week in terms of what we're trying to get out. Write letters to the editor this week. Really hit the gas stations hard this week because ballots are going to be arriving in people's mailboxes. So that will be how we get the word out in terms of each week we'll have a different theme for what the campaign's trying to do. So, your first assignment, take the Palm card, make sure you're signed up, and email 5 friends. You're also welcome to take lawn signs, gas pump stickers, home with you tonight, so that we can get at least some collateral in your hands. And I'm looking forward to celebrating on election night. I want you all, since we're running this out of San Diego, we're going to be in San Diego on election night. That's where the official statewide Yes on Prop 6 campaign is going to be. And we're going to have a real big party downtown. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but oh man, it is going to feel so good when we finally win one against the Sacramento mob. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl. An inspiration to us all. So hopefully we can get out there and spread the word. Please take him up on his suggestions to support this initiative. And make sure that on your way out you pick up some of the campaign literature, stickers, and yard signs. We appreciate you being here tonight, and hope you'll join us at our next meeting, October 15th. And that's it. We thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
What are you talking about?